Okay, so for this first t-shirt, what we're going to do is some, I don't even know what to call it. I would say old school, but I've never actually seen it done before. It's possible that it has been done, but I don't know. I'm using painter's tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this tape around this shirt, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to get your shirt, and you just want to gather it wherever you want to put your tape. So I'm going to make my first gather right here, about under the armpits. And I'm just going to take it and tape it onto itself. Like that. Now I'm using painter's tape because it's so easy to get at. Now this is not an exact science, and some paint will no doubt leak under the tape, but that's no big deal. That's the beauty of this funky shirt that we are decorating. So I'm going to get my next gather down about there. And then I'm also going to do a gather around the sleeves. So, and I don't need that big a piece for the sleeves, so I'm going to tear it and then tape it onto itself like that. Kind of looks like I'm making a rag doll or something, but I promise you, you're going to be surprised at the outcome. Okay, and I'll get this on this sleeve and tape it into itself. Okay, and there you have it. Now you could tape anywhere you want, and I'm sure once you get this process down, you'll probably want to have fun doing it all kind of ways, because you never knew you could use painter's tape like this. So this is what the piece looks like. I know it's funny. I know you don't believe this, but it's gonna work. You know, I almost think I want to do it around the collar. Not so much the collar, but maybe up there like that. Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's just go for broke with this one. Okay. The thing about this is that it's your own art. So there's no perfect science, as if you've ever colored any fabric, you know there's no perfect science to it. It's always beautiful and unique. So that's our first step, and now let's go on to the next step. Okay, so what I've done is I have got myself a big white garbage bag, but of course it doesn't have to be white. Mine just happens to be white. And I split it open because once I'm done, it's a gunner. And I can just fold it up and throw it in the garbage, and that's the end of that mess. Okay? I just want to make sure everything's covered. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to start spraying. And you can basically just spray any way you want, anywhere you want. I am going to be smart and cover myself as much as possible here. And I'm going to start with my light color. Okay. Shake that up real good. Okay. And I'm using that fashion blast that I talked about in my tips on using fabric paint. And I'm just going to spray right onto the tape. Now the thing about this is that you are going to want to have gloves on when you get finished, because you're not going to want to leave this tape on here for long. You're not going to want to leave it on there long enough to dry with the paint, because then it's kind of a pain to get off. So I'm just kind of spraying around the tape lines for my decoration, as you can see. And then I'm going to do it on the back. Now you can do this, of course, by flipping it over or whatever you want to do. This works for me. Okay. And remember, these colors are going to be mixed anyway, so just have fun with it. Just spray it any way you want. You're going to be so surprised at the outcome. The other thing is, you're going to want to let this dry for 24 hours. And then you're probably going to want to give it a good washing before you wear it. I'd wash it on the gentle cycle to be safe. And I don't know if I'd put it in the dryer. I'm thinking, personally, myself, I think the directions say that you can dry on light, but I think for myself, I'd probably hang it up to dry the first couple of times. Okay. Now, this is my darker color. I don't know if you can hear my fan going back there, but believe me, it's going. I'm not taking any chances. Okay, and I'm getting this, so this is going to be like a second level of color. And it's good to get drips if you can, too. That kind of puts a different element on it. And I'm getting the drips by spray hold. So you can get the mist by spraying, and you can get the drips by spray hold. Spray hold, spray hold. And as you can see, this is going to be pretty wet with paint, and you definitely want to hang this up somewhere where it's not going to be disturbed and let it dry. And like I said, even though it'll feel like it's dry within a couple hours or so, you really want to give it a good 24 hours to dry. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the fabric paint that's in this bottle, and I'm just going to dip my brush in there. You can, pour it out on something if you want. Just work the way you're used to working, That's really basically what the bottom line is, what you're comfortable with. And then I'm going to take this and I'm just going to go right around the tip of the tape, the edge of the tape. Great thing about this, you don't need to make yourself a vat of water and all that kind of stuff and, all that heavy duty stuff. You might notice that I don't have gloves on. I wouldn't suggest that. Like I said, this is the way I'm used to working, but if you've never done this before, you kind of might want to wear some gloves. Because as you can see, it could probably turn kind of messy. Okay. The other thing I wouldn't suggest you do is dip in the bottle when you're using different colors like I'm doing. I'm kind of bad. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I am kind of bad when it comes to how I do stuff. But that's only because I've been doing it for so long that it's kind of, habit more than anything. So I'm just going around the tips by the tape with this black color, but you can put it anywhere you want to. Just like that. So, and I'm going to finish this black part up so we can move on to the next step. Okay, the next thing you want to do is have a hanger ready, number one, and number two, you want to remove your tape. Now, you really might want to have some rubber gloves for this process. As you know, I hate wearing them, so I'm not going to have them on, but I really suggest you do. Unless you hate wearing them too. I'm not afraid to get messy. So, I just pull off the rubber tape and discard it. And I'm going to do that from every section, and then we'll move on to the next step.